Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Morning Game and Watch Drop here. It's episode 6.2. If you have already watched the episode before this, part 1, we went over the reactions of the Star Wars Episode 8 trailer. And this one, we're going to be going into our theories as to what we think is going to be going on in the movie and what our hopes and dreams are for this film. And there's a lot of interesting stuff. You've been telling me a lot of interesting stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what to think so far.
They're theories. I mean, some of them are out there, but I feel like a lot of them could be, like, a theory is what you wish, It's like, it's you take what you see and then you kind of hope for that to happen in the movie, So,
obviously we know that this takes place, obviously, after number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7 left off. Kylo Ren leaving. Rey is with Luke Skywalker in hopes of being trained.
Yeah.
Finn is unconscious.
Last time we saw him, because he was, like, almost killed.
Exactly.
With the lightsaber slash across the back.
And so that's practically where we're at. And the build-up to this one seems very, very dark. The lettering for the first time ever is red instead of yellow. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of things about that. I'm like, what is going to be happening in this episode? And so there's that famous line within the trailer that Luke Skywalker goes on and says, "I believe it's time for the Jedi to end." Mm-hmm. So I guess you can go. I think we can start off right there because the title of the movie is The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So what do you think that means? Do you think that's The Last Jedi as in no more Jedi, or The Last Jedi as in
Rey is the last Jedi, or maybe she's not going to even be the last Jedi. Maybe he's training her how to use the Force and stuff like that, but she's not really a Jedi. Like, the last Jedi is Luke. Luke is the last Jedi.
Exactly. I was actually thinking the same thing. Like, could that title, the word Jedi, be? Could the last one be Luke, and then Rey and Kylo are going to be considered as different things?
Like, they're gonna maybe Kylo at some point in the movie. Probably, I don't know. I mean, it'd be kind of weird to do it on the second movie because they're gonna do a 3-movie thing trilogy they do with all of them, right? So, it would kind of be weird if by this movie he kind of reconciled who he was, but it'd be it'd throw an interesting taste onto it. He kind of embraced the fact that he's not completely evil, because in the first one of number 7, you kind of see that he still struggles with being good, especially in that moment when he kills his dad. You can see him kind of balancing it, and then all of a sudden he just makes the split decision just to whack him.
Right. I mean, there's those moments within episode 7 where he looks like he's battling with himself because he was once good and now he is being drawn to be bad. But it's
so his mask is crushed in the trailer as well. So it's maybe is that him crushing that, is in he's throwing away that part of himself, and he's going to try to be him and Rey are going to start something new, a new kind of order, not necessarily Jedi, but maybe just keepers of the Force or something like that. They have the Force sensitivity, but they're not going to go out and
So do you get the feeling that Kylo would turn to good in this episode?
I think it could. It's a possibility.
How
I definitely
so?
think it's a possibility. Just because they did emphasize the internal struggle that he was facing in the last movie, and what would be even a greater spin on this is if the Last Jedi was none of them, and it was what if it was just Finn? What if Finn was the Last Jedi? Because they all die. They all go out in a blaze of glory. They end up all Luke fights what's his name? The big Sith. Snoke, yeah. He ends up getting to Snoke's temple or something, or getting struck down by Snoke.
Yeah.
Freaking Rey kills, what's his name? Kylo, and then she goes on to kill Snoke or whatever. And they maybe they kill each other in that final act, and then maybe Finn is the last Jedi.
So you raised
because he's Force sensitive.
So you raised the question to where. What is that suit that Finn is wearing in the trailer? And so at first glance, it looks like
a medical suit.
Exactly, it looks like a medical suit, like he's just in there being healed. But then you said that it looks a lot like a suit that came out in Star Wars Rebels. Do you want to expand on that?
Kind of the gray Jedi suit, kind of where they tap into the dark side of the Force as well as the light, but they don't stray to either one. They
Perfectly
stay pretty
balanced.
perfectly balanced and neutral. It would be kind of interesting because he was a stormtrooper, and then he left, and then he found Rey and stuff like that, and he got a taste of redemption when he fought against Kylo. At the end scene.
Is he Force sensitive though? The fact that he just picked up a saber though.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like he might be a little Force sensitive. I don't think he's totally like at the levels of Rey is or anything. But I think that's gonna be. I hope that's addressed, and I hope that he is because that would be a more of an interesting twist in the story.
Yeah. So Star Wars Rebels, where in the 7 episodes does that take place?
Oh my gosh, I can't even remember that. I'd have to recall it completely, but
because I was gonna say if it was,
I think it was towards the beginning of this last season or the season before.
So Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
The only reason why I asked is because where are the Grey Jedi in this whole moment? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The anime entry in the Star Wars franchise fills in the gap between Episode 3 and 4. All right, so the Grey Jedi come out in between 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Where have they been ever since Episode 7?
I'm not entirely sure that.
And I'm wondering where can that suit just pop up?
Yeah,
Unless they had it reserved somewhere, and that's like the only way to heal him is through this technologically advanced suit that they had from the past.
Well, okay, so this isn't the first time the Star Wars universe has kind of been shifty about hiding things too. Okay, for example, with the whole or the original, not the old school trilogy, but I'm talking about the prequel trilogies. The whole fact that Qui-Gon Jinn had this whole secret planet that he took off of all the star maps in the Jedi Academy, and he was building a clone army, right? So maybe they removed themselves to hide after the Order 66, thing.
Yeah.
To hide because I mean that's in Rebels, they're the Jedi that are there that they find and stuff in the show that they're hidden. You know what I mean? They're not coming out of hiding because of what happened. Because they're sought after. The Inquisitors and stuff are always trying to kill them. And see, the Inquisitors kind of tap into that area where they're not necessarily Jedi. They know they're trained to use a lightsaber, and they can use it. They don't necessarily have force powers or anything like that. But, they use a lightsaber nonetheless, so you automatically assume that they might be Jedi, but they're not. They're not Jedi because they don't follow that kind of code and religion. So there's the fact that, Finn might be able to harness that because he is trained as a soldier, so if he gets some sort of training to use a lightsaber, maybe he becomes kind of like a Inquisitor kind of thing,
So if this doesn't happen, and let's just say he gets healed, a third of the way through the movie, do you think Finn's role will be a much so like the Han Solo role to complement Rey, who's the Luke Skywalker role?
I feel like they could do that, and it would be the easy way out for that kind of movie. You know what I mean? It would be just recycling material, and I think that after the first movie and after people complained that it was pretty similar to the original, New Hope, and stuff like that. So I hope they wouldn't go along that path. I mean, nonetheless, I'm going to be excited for the movie, and I still love the franchise, and that's not going to deter me in any way from enjoying this movie. But to put a fresh spin on things, maybe they go slightly in a different direction. I think that would be kind of cool.
So what do you think? Okay, so Episode 7, Kylo Ren killed Han. At the end of Episode 7, Leia finds out Han died. I wonder what kind of dynamic is there going to be between Leia and Kylo Ren in Episode 8. I hope they meet, and if they don't meet, then I'm totally fine with that. I want there to be a dramatic meetup between her and her son in Episode 9, and just that emotion of you just killed your father.
And that brings me to a good question too, because it's okay, so Carrie Fisher passed away this year, so it brings me to the question how are they going to respectfully kill her off from the series?
So here's the thing,
how do you think her story arc is going to end within the Star Wars universe?
This is a very interesting question, and the thing is that there's been people asking, would it be disrespectful to use CGI for her? to finish up episode 9, because supposedly her role in episode 9 was so big that the fact that she died is a very like inconvenient thing for the movie. So what I think the best thing for them to do is just cast somebody else.
CGI.
Just cast somebody else.
Really, you think cast somebody else? Do you think somebody?
Yes, because the thing
people that look enough like her.
Well, I don't know. I don't think the goal is to find someone who looks like her. The only thing is that true fans are going to be sentimental over the fact that the CGI doesn't look exactly like her and it's not perfect.
Maybe
because they got like that with Rogue One.
Yeah, but
people were going crazy over that.
I thought it was amazing.
I thought it
was like an ode to how far we've come as far as CGI
no,
goes.
I totally agree.
Like, my grandfather didn't know at first that was fake. I was like, yeah, dude, that guy was not real. Like, was all CGI computer. And he's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I've seen that ending part with Leia 3 times. And I'm like, every single time I see it, I'm like, this looks perfect. And then there's those people who are like, it didn't look right. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I think, the only thing is I know that they already finished wrapping up episode 8. So she is going to be doing everything that she wanted to do and needed to do in this one. Unless, due to the fact that she died, they changed something up.
They could change something up in the last minute so she's... Or maybe like with Hunger Games. You remember how Philip Seymour Hoffman died midway through the shoot of the last movie?
What did they do?
They just kind of cut his scenes to where, like, you know, he had finished up halfway through like the first part of the movie or whatever, and he passed away, unfortunately. But they kind of like made it so that they kind of respectfully kind of withered him away in the movie. So, I mean, it wasn't bad. They could do something like that. I honestly think, what if, like, that brings me to the question, okay, so what if, like, they just say screw it and they, like, use that as, like, she kills her son kind of thing in a act of revenge, you know what I mean?
Leia kills
Yeah, because
Kyle.
You said she's got a big role. What if, like, that was, like, the, you know...
But then here's the thing. Leia, obviously, is Force sensitive, as we all know. In the moment where... And here's the thing here's the question that's raised, because when Luke says the Jedi must end, in the original prequel trilogy, not original, the prequels, Anakin's role was to bring balance to the Force the entire time.
Yeah.
His whole role was to bring balance to the Force. Didn't work out. Obviously, he became Darth Vader.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking is happening now is that Luke Skywalker has become aware that you cannot bring balance. Because if there's a light, there's always going to be dark.
Yeah, it's a yin and yang situation.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think what's going to happen is that there's going to be a thing to where Luke, in his mind, the entire time, he's going to think, we as Jedi just need to end. We just need to be done. But I feel like maybe Rey or Leia, one of them, is going to be like, no, you're kind of in the wrong. Like, we need this to keep this universe safe. It is useful, but we can use it in the right way. And the role of Luke would be totally different and dramatic, kind of like a bad guy role.
Yeah.
Because his goal is to just end all the Jedi.
So like an anti-hero, kind of. Like, he's good, but he's using his powers for an unjust reason. Almost.
Well, I think his reasons can be justified.
Mind. Yeah,
I mean,
justified
it makes sense
by him, but unjust in the sense that, like, for the bigger picture, like,
right,
he's doing more damage than good.
Right, and obviously his family died. Kylo Ren, by what it looks like, killed her.
Do you think we're gonna get in this movie? Do you think we're gonna get addressed on who Rey's parents are, and hopefully maybe an insight on Finn's like life too?
Yeah, I don't think Finn's life is gonna have much insight. I hope they don't. Yeah. And here's another thing: I hope that they don't make. Look, my favorite character of all the Star Wars franchises is Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's my favorite character. Yeah. But I hope that Rey is not a descendant of him. The only reason why is because it'll make a point that anybody can become a Jedi. Because if she's a Kenobi, then that means there's only the holy families, you know? There's like only the Skywalkers and the Kenobis, and if Finn was connected to Windu, only these families are the ones who can be part of the Force.
So what if Rey's what if her grandfather was Palpatine? That's kind of a stretch, but think about it.
Yeah, it's a stretch, but the thing is, I don't think it wouldn't make sense based off of the fact that when he died.
If you look like this, like, so if you look at, like, Kylo, okay, he comes from the Skywalker line, right? You go, evil, good, evil, right? And then you go with Palpatine, take that, and, like, instead of, like, being an evil lineage like that, like, she's good.
The only thing is the timeline does not add up.
Yeah.
When he dies, Kylo and Rey are not even born at that time when Darth Vader kills Palpatine.
True.
So there's no way she can be alive. She can be a spawn of that.
Yeah.
But then this raises the question, since Palpatine's out of the picture, and we have the new guy, who is Snoke, who's obviously the bigger bad guy, who obviously I believe is going to cause a fight between Rey, Kylo, against Snoke. I think that's what the ultimate fight's going to be. Who do you think Snoke is?
Gosh, I don't know. I don't even think Snoke is honestly who we think he is. I think Snoke is his own being.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because there's those rumors that he's what's his face?
Windu.
Darth Plagueis.
Oh, Darth Plagueis, yeah. Which I mean, that's a possibility too because
he's
supposed
cheated
to be
dad.
like he's supposed to be like an ancient being
Yeah.
too. And then, like in the Knights of the Republic, they had number 2. They had the bad guy in there. Like he had such a lust for the dark side that he became kind of his own entity. He became the dark side in his own right, and he would like eat the hatred out of like all these planets and destroy them by doing so.
Yeah.
And so I mean, he was like, who knows how old? They didn't specify. He's just ancient evil. Anyway, so I mean, he could be something like that, or he could be just his own being, and maybe like his home world was attacked, like like he was just like some sort of like casual alien or whatever that was just there, and his homeworld was attacked by Jedi or something, or like he was affected by like the Sith or whatever, and he embraced the dark, and then just kind of took that for what it was.
Yeah, I think
definitely think there's hidden motives, and there's a little bit of a vendetta, with him.
I don't think this one's gonna end the same way that the first episode 7 end,
No.
where it's like, oh, Rey beat Kylo, and now the episode 9 is gonna be them finally beating him up, or him being. I think what's gonna happen is something drastic is gonna happen, and I think it's gonna be Luke's fault. I think Rey's gonna get really hurt some way, lose an arm or something like that.
You think so?
And then I think.
What if they just killed her off?
No, they can't do that.
I know. I'm just saying. What if they did? What
That'd
if
be-
they just
That'd be
Game of Thrones style, just like whop.
That'd be crazy. And if Kylo took over as the lead role,
Yeah.
that'd be pretty good.
He came
that'd be
back,
pretty
redeemed
interesting.
himself in the eyes of Luke, and like maybe like they started their own Sith apprentice against Snoke.
You see, here's the thing. The thing is, the Skywalker family is obviously the main focal point of the entire series.
Yeah.
It began with the Skywalkers, and it somehow has to end with the Skywalkers. So it's gonna be somewhere to the point where Luke's gonna die. I think in episode 9. I don't think he's gonna die in this episode.
Yeah.
He's gonna die in episode 9, and Kylo is gonna finally finish what needs to be done. And I think Kylo's probably gonna sacrifice his life at the end.
This is the thing with theories too, is just like you can just keep going on with them.
Yeah.
Right. So my whole thing is too is like, okay, so we have this one part where you feel like that's gonna happen in that way, but I also have a feeling like, what if just out of left field, like the director decides that he wants to take it in a whole different direction, and like you said, begins with the Skywalkers, ends with the Skywalkers, kind of thing. Like, so what if like all these heroes that we just built up in this last movie that we think are gonna go to the end, don't necessarily go to the end? Like some of them make it through to this one, but Luke makes it to like the end of like this like new trilogy here, and he's the one that kills Snoke, and like Daisy Ridley is like not there, and Kylo's dead, and everything else. You know,
like Luke finally finishes it off what was supposed to be.
Yeah, like
Interesting.
Like he's a tortured being, and like he is the last Jedi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he has to carry the burden of like everybody he's loved being killed because of like the things he's believed in.
I will. You know what? That actually sounds pretty interesting. That actually does sound pretty interesting. I would like
kind of dark, but
I would like if Luke played kind of like the Jesus role, to where like all the weight is on him, and he has to finish it off. You know?
Yeah.
And the only way he can finish it off is he obviously has to give his life up.
Yeah.
And he has to finish beat up Snoke, and that'd be really really cool.
Right.
And that which will cause him to die. Rey being a student of his from the outside, and from the outside looking in, obviously there'll be pain. I think Kylo might be alive still. I mean, if he dies, I don't know. I love Kylo Ren so much. I hope he lives.
Yeah.
And I think Leia, their intentions were for her to probably live till 9. That's what I think. Now, if she doesn't, we don't know where they're gonna go from there. But I actually like that idea. I think that actually sounds really really cool. I think the last person that I want to touch on is Captain Phasma. She really didn't have that big of a role in number 7, and they kind of made her seem really weak, though she was supposed to be like the next Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Do you think she's gonna have more so of a role in this one than she did in the last one?
I think so. And it's like, I definitely think so strictly because they cast somebody from Game of Thrones who's got, that, like, she's known for just being like this total Game of Thrones series, right?
Yeah.
And the fact is like, why would you cast somebody of that caliber? Because like, she can act, clearly. She's in this show, this freaking great show, and it's like, why would you cast somebody with that acting, ability?
True.
Put her in a position where she's Captain Phasma, you know what I mean?
True.
Give her this bad armor, only to like have her play small roles. It's like, she's gonna, of course, she's not gonna be a main focal point in this series, but I feel like she's gonna come back, and there's gonna be like a bigger role. Maybe, hopefully, that like with these Star Wars movies, they're making, like with the Rogue One series, like hopefully, and like the new Han Solo, hopefully there's like another spin-off movie, maybe, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And we're seeing that with the new game as well. We're seeing a spin-off story of like, that side of their story.
True.
So
yeah.
it'd be kind of cool. Maybe she's got her own spin-off movie later on about how she like rose to power or something like that. And
no, that would
leading
actually
like
be really,
this
really cool.
army of like new troopers. And
I like that. Final thoughts. I'm so excited for this movie, dude.
I am too.
I'm so
Pretty
excited
sick.
for it.
Christmas.
Disney's been doing a phenomenal job. They knocked it out of the park with number 7. They knocked it out of the park with Rogue One. I loved Rogue One so much.
Way to go, Disney.
And here we go is number 8. And so I'm really hopeful about it. And I'm really interested in how they're going to take Leia's character and evolve it through number 8 to number 9 due to the fact that she died. But I'm pretty sure they're creative over there. They know what they're doing. And I know they'll make the right decision.
Disney. They're hella respectful about stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah.
They
Final
just
thoughts
have
for you,
their-
man?
I don't know. I look at it this way. My final thought is whether it's or it's great, I'm still gonna enjoy it because I've been watching these since I was a kid. My dad's been watching them since he was a kid, and it's kind of been a family tradition to like keep these. Everybody in my family watches this, except for my grandmother. She doesn't, but that's okay. I forgive her.
You gotta watch them, Grandma.
Everybody else watches them. Anyway, my final thoughts is I don't think it could suck anyway to me, honestly.
Yeah.
Whether it's just not what I'm expecting or not what I'm hoping for. I kind of hope that it's something I'm not hoping for, because it gives you that like, oh well, I wasn't expecting this, but it's still great. I like that feeling. So that's mine. How about yours?
No, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm totally stoked for it. I know for a fact that's gonna be really, really good. I just can't wait to sit down again in that chair and just see the opening credits roll.
IMAX, Christmas afternoon.
Yeah, dude.
Just sound everywhere. Just, Yes.
Perfection.
Perfection.
Anyways, thanks guys for watching here. The Morning Game & Watch Drop, episode 6.2. Let us know what you guys are excited for in regards to Star Wars Episode 8. Send us y'all's questions. We'll answer y'all's questions on the show. And push that thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And share with your friends. We love you guys. Stay tuned. Keep watching that Star Wars, y'all.